Oh man, my dad was always hands-on with me. From I got baby pictures where it's a basketball near me some way somehow. I started playing around like 3 years old, 4 years old. My dad actually started a team on his own, and I started playing from there, and it just really took over my life, you know. And I think it's just made my foundation of who I was, as far as the friends I made, people I met, and a bunch of relationships that I met through basketball. Well, I went to Bowling Green State University, which was in northern Ohio, near Toledo. It was a pretty big school. We had about 20,000 people. Honestly, when I first went to school, I thought I was going to sit on the bench for 4 years and get my degree and go about my day, go home and start working. And actually, our first game, I was like the first sub, and I was so nervous. So, and then after that, I just continued to work, and next thing you know, I was a pretty big player on our team. We did okay, nothing that I think was anything big. We just did okay. But college, I had a great time. I played for some great coaches: Lewis Orr, Dennis Hobson, Lamonte Stone, Twig, and even some of my players still some of my best friends to this day. So it was a great experience. Oh, math education, to be a math teacher. No, I don't. It was just I always like numbers. I think numbers deal with money, and so I was always good at it too. So I tried that, and so far I haven't had to use it. So it was tough, honestly. It was a bunch of like setbacks, really. My first year, I didn't play at all. I sat out a whole year from playing. I couldn't find a job. I had a real close friend of mine who really kind of took me under his wing, and I trained with him and traveled with him for a while just to stay in shape. And I never gave up. And then the next year came. I actually went to go play somewhere, got released from there, and I had another opportunity to go to another league, and it worked out. Everything was fine, and then it really wasn't a big league. It was a smaller league. Not really respected. And then I came back, and another friend took me under his wing and really put me on a pedestal. I entered the G League draft and got drafted to New York, and I was like the 16th man and became one of the key players on the team coming off the bench, and I think that really established who I was. So it really was a rough 2 or 3 years just trying to get my feet wet in the door, and finally a few people gave me an opportunity. I think being in New York, it was probably the biggest influence by far. I was living in White Plains, which is about 30, 40 minutes north of Manhattan, and it's right next to the Knicks facility. And I think it really shaped me as a basketball player, as a man, just learning the game, and about being a pro. It was really professional, about taking care of your bodies, eating right and everything, and I think that really set the foundation on how to be a pro. And I had some great vets as well. Sean Marshall, who actually played in Turkey, he really helped me out a lot, and I still to this day I talk to him, and I think he helped me set the foundation as well. The goal and the dream is always to play in the NBA, play at the highest level, and I think it was just time that I spent my time in the G League, and I think it was time for me to come over here and test the waters and see how it was over here and see if I like it at all. And last year was a great opportunity for me, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I think this is where I feel like where I fit in and where I can build my career. It was actually a long summer. This year was rough, just waiting on finding out what's next. I think that's the biggest thing with being a pro, is like you always want to know what's next, and sometimes you can get anxious about that. And it was around September when my agent made a call, called me in the morning and said, "Hey, do you want to? I got a job in Turkey for you." And I've heard nothing but good things about Turkey, about the league and how strong it is, and it's probably one of the best basketball in Europe. So right away, I didn't care who it was. I wanted to go and see how I can do against this competition and everything, because I've heard how strong the league is, so it was definitely a challenge for me. So I wanted to see what it's all about. Afyon, at first, when I seen it, is nothing around, super small. And I think it's a good thing as well because I can actually focus in on just basketball. I mean, what I'm really here for. You know, I don't have any distractions, and I can actually put some extra work in and not have to worry about anything. And Turkey in general, though, my biggest thing is the rice. I love the rice here. Yeah. The best. The food is amazing. So, yeah, I know I like everything. Oh, okay. Everything. So that's been the biggest thing for me was the food. I love the food here. I don't want to say that I'm surprised, because I believe in my teammates and our abilities, but the fact that really our first game this year was maybe the first time we played 5-on-5, or maybe we played 3 days in practice, but not with everybody. So that was like our first time playing 5-on-5. The fact that we put a team together within a week and came out and competed, I think that was the really surprising part about it, is how fast we picked up on things and kind of meshed. I think our team that we have right now outside of basketball is really close. And I think that's what shows on the court and made us adapt so quick, because how close we are and a good group of guys that we have. And I think it starts up to our coaching staff, from our head coach all the way down, are great people, and they know the game of basketball. So it was just really about getting our offenses and defense and all our schemes and stuff, and just playing with heart and playing for each other. And I think that's been these last couple games. That's what we've been playing for. I think it's a little of both. I think one, it comes into the confidence of the work that I put in. The shots that I take, I know I've took a billion shots just like that in the off season or during season when I'm just practicing and shooting on my own. So it's just basically another shot that I'm just out there playing. And I think another thing is just is the hungriness and the fun of the game. Just basketball in general I love this game. So I'm out there really just having fun. So I think that's the biggest thing. I don't think as something so serious and as a job. Like, I think as me just having fun out there and playing with a bunch of guys that I'm close with. Holy Hooper is actually a brand that I started about 2 years ago. A friend of mine, basically, because I'm really religious, and he always used to start calling me the Holy Hooper, because I will always post about my religion and being a Christian and my belief of God. And so I just kind of ran with it, and then I just recently put out merchandise about a year ago. Yeah, it's a non-profit. I have a nonprofit back home where I put on kids basketball camps back home. We do a bunch of fundraising for it's called the Cincinnati Friars Club back home, for kids in the local area that's less fortunate, to help them, whether it's not just basketball, but as far as having mentors to help them if they need anything, whether it's school or book bags, school supplies, or just somebody to talk to, and to keep them off the street and to give them a right role model, a right path to walk. You know, you want to think about it, but you don't want to think about it, because you think this game's gonna last forever. But I don't know. It's tough. I want to coach. I believe I want to be a pro coach eventually, either pro or high school. And I wouldn't mind training as well. And also, I'm really big in like the fashion too. So if I could find a way to where I style people for runways or design clothes or something like that, I think that would be a great job. Wow, that's a good question. I think life it's almost like I think it's a test to me. I recently just watched a series with Morgan Freeman, I think it's Who is God? And it was great, and I think this was kind of what goes on the path of that. And I think this is all a test about, I think me personally is about growing my faith with God, and if I can reach out to one person to grow them closer to God, I think I done my job. And I think it's about just living life as in the moment, like not worrying about tomorrow and the past, but being the present. I think a lot of times we forget about like living right now. When we go places, we're always on our phones recording and stuff, and you really don't get the real feeling about what's going on at the time. And I think that's really our purpose. And I actually watched a sermon a couple of days ago, and I remember them saying, a guy asked, like, what do you think your purpose is? And the guy responded and said, do you believe in God? He said, yeah, of course. And he said, then that's not none of your concern, because if you believe in God, you know that's in his hands, your purpose. So I think just going every day, just being who you are, and just trying to help the next person and be good to that next person, that will be your purpose, and eventually your purpose will come its way. Yeah, he's my uncle. He's my mentor, yeah, my uncle, my mentor. So, you know, when I leave here, I go home and spend time with my family, and then, because I live in Vegas now, and I go get my daughter and take her out there, and I'm with him for the whole summer, you know. And being around him, it's, you know, you see what you see on Instagram, the fame and all that stuff, but what people don't know behind cameras is how great of a guy he is, you know. He's taught me a lot, from how to use my money, save my money, building relationships, introducing me to people, and even the mental aspect of how to approach every game. And I think that's the biggest thing I got from him, is how to be a winner. You know, even when he's doing, I don't know, jumping jacks or push-up contests, whatever it is, he wants to win. And he'll do anything to do that. So I think that's one thing that I picked up from him as well. And, you know, every day is a venture with him. You don't know what's going to happen. You might be in L.A. one day and Italy the next day. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's the best feeling ever. I mean, this part is the hardest part, being away from her so long and not getting to see everything. I mean, the phone doesn't do justice, you know. That's the hardest part. And it's just the biggest thing that you worry about is just when she gets older, you want her to understand, like, the reasons behind why I'm away, and still try to be the best father being away, and then when I'm there, to be the best father possible. So just know that she's loved by me, and that's all that matters to me, that she's okay and she's in good hands.